I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. And we have the minutes from the March 14th meeting.
Yep.
If you want to just kind of check over and see if everything looks okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a question for you, Eric.
Yes.
On that, the book, that minute book that we got from Perry Hill Church,
Yes.
who's the person that you said could revamp it? Because you said something about you had given me his name.
Yes, I gave you the name, I gave you the phone number. I'll send it to you again while we're here.
All right, because I don't think
Moonlight something or other. It's Chase Road going into
Freetown?
Freetown, yeah. Second house on the left-hand side, south side.
Oh, not the book.
Moon something or other. Moonlight. From memory, but I'll send you it.
Ah. Okay, because I know I can't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so may I have a motion to accept the minutes as read?
So move. I'll second.
All in favor, second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so this is all set. Okay. As I was telling Eric, tonight I want to really discuss Perry Hill Church because I went before CPC again.
Yep.
I go every year asking for the funds
Yep.
and I'm getting nowhere.
Well, how much money are you seeking?
Well, we've got, that building needs a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh, yes, indeed it does.
Okay.
Indeed it does.
The estimate that I have here
Yep.
was to do basically the interior. Lift
Yep.
all the flooring up, take all the pews out, and do what they need to do underneath the building. They've got I can't think of the word.
Floor joist.
The floor joist, thank you.
Yep.
They're gonna do that underneath the building and to secure it, and then they would have to put everything back in and restore it. The cost of that would have been $52,400.
Oh,
And this is, let me see. Okay, because I got two. I had two prices. Remember last year I said that these fellas had talked to me at the Apple Beach Festival about giving us the wood, all the pine flooring? Well, I misplaced his phone number. And I have not been able to find it since. Okay, so I got two prices. One was to have, with the floor to be replaced, and then I can't find the other one.
okay, once they get this work done, then what happens in that little church? What will become of the building? What are they gonna do in it, if anything, or is it just
Well,
give me a visit?
The one thing is that I wanted to see it reopen again as a church on Sundays,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
And then we could figure from there different uses, because I've been approached by people, a ceramic teacher from UMass Dartmouth that wanted to be able to rent the building to do ceramic work
Oh,
with our students inside.
huh,
But you're there again, you can't do nothing unless you get water. We have no water,
gosh.
no heat.
No electricity.
There is electricity in the building.
Well, you're good at it.
Oh yeah, the electricity is there, it's just not finished.
Mhm.
Because remember I got
It's
the
nice
globes?
shining, yes.
I got those globes there at the museum.
Uh-huh.
Okay? So we have a Perry Hill Church account that still has a balance in it. And that was from previous CPC meetings, you know, that we had got money. Right now, there's $38,200 in that account with the town.
That's pretty good,
Okay,
yeah.
all right, so what we were asking for is basically the difference.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, when I went before CPC, they said, how much work does the building need? And I told them, I said, basically it needs everything. The building never had water, never had heat. There's gas outside in the street, there's water outside in the street, there's no bathrooms in there. Okay, so this is what they said to me at the CPC meeting. How about we take this 38,000 and try to get the bathrooms in? Now, I've had Old Colony out there. I had the carpenter, the electrician, and I think the other guy's the planner, designer or whatever you call him. I forgot his name. Terrible with names. But I've had them out there, and they had told me that they could put an addition on the back of the building, okay, in order to have the bathrooms put in. So CPC asked me if I would go ahead and try to find out if we could get the bathroom work done for this amount of money, and then I could come back to CPC for the next step. So my first job was I had to get a hold of the building inspector, which is the new guy, he's part-time, Andy Barbola from Fairhaven. Okay, so I had a conversation with him. He's familiar with the Perry Hill Church. He didn't have time to go out there to look at the building, but he gave me a lot of information. And so I explained to him that I had gone to CPC and what we were asking for, and I mentioned about the bathrooms. We've got to have 3 bathrooms in that building. We've got to have 3 handicap bathrooms in that building.
3?
3. One for men, one for women, and one for the LBQTs. That's the code, Massachusetts code.
How large a congregation had they? It's not a very large building.
It's not a large building, and it's never had a bathroom.
No.
So why isn't that building grandfathered
It ought
to
to
the
be.
state Mass Historic? How come that building is not grandfathered so that we wouldn't have to go through that expense and have just one bathroom put in? I don't understand. I'm so riled up over this whole thing with Perry Hill Church. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a phone call in to Mass Historical again, and I'm going to talk to that gentleman that I usually speak to. He's very knowledgeable. He's been there for years. And I want to know why that building is not grandfathered in. All those years it was used as a church, never had a bathroom. And it had 2 wood stoves, the ceramic stoves, okay? And the last minister that was there, that he was Hispanic, he sold them. He got rid of the stoves. He got rid of anything in that building that he thought was worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
But he didn't take care of the building. He did take care of the building,
Gosh.
okay?
Yeah.
I want to know why. The way it stands right now, I cannot even open up the Quaker Meeting House. Now, Steve Gilmore opened that house up for years, every weekend,
Yep.
right? Every weekend. I was told by the last town administrator, not the gentleman now, the last one, that the last car show I had up there, I had opened the building,
Yep.
people could go in on the first floor and view it. I didn't let them go on the second floor, just the first floor and view it. I had arts and craft people there, the car show, we had music, we had a food truck,
Yep.
everything there, okay? That week, when I came into the town hall, I was approached by the town administrator. And you know what he told me? He told me I was lucky I didn't get arrested. Because if the right person from the state had come by
Yeah.
and saw that building open with no handicap access,
Yeah, but what about the grandfather clause?
there is none. This is what I don't understand. That building doesn't have any bathrooms,
No, I'm sure it
no
doesn't.
no running water,
Yeah.
nothing but electric.
Huh.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's what I was told by the town administrator.
Pauline,
So since then, we haven't opened that
when
building.
you keep saying electric, you mean the wiring is installed in the building, but it's not...
It's on.
It is.
It is on, and they get a little electric bill because how I found out,
Yep.
last month, I got an electric bill for Perry Hill Church for $15.
Yep.
And I went upstairs to finance and I said, what is this? I never get a bill for Perry Hill.
Huh.
Oh, she said, the town covers that.
Okay.
You're not supposed to get it.
Yep.
So the electric is on, there's outlets there that are working. The only thing that never got finished was the outlets in the ceiling. Yeah, because it needs
So
all
the
sheet
outlets
rock.
in the walls, on both east and west walls, they're active.
I don't know if there is any on the sidewalls. I know in the front, there is.
Okay.
And I believe in the entrance there, the entrance hallway, I believe there's an outlet there that's active. But, yeah,
So
Okay.
at Christmas time, winter time, the candles you have, those are strictly battery operated that I got you.
they're all battery operated, yep.
Okay.
All of them. In fact, the museum, they're battery operated, and the Quaker Meeting House, I put them in all 3 buildings,
Okay.
but they're all battery operated.
If I went into the Quaker Meeting House, what would I see? Is there anything much to be seen in there?
The first floor is got pews,
Yeah.
like a meeting house type
Sure.
thing,
Oh, yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
And then upstairs, we've got a lot of like glass cases with artifacts from the Quakers.
I'll be darned.
And we did an inventory on it a few years ago.
Yeah.
I did an inventory with that Doreen Roy. I don't know if you remember her. So we've got a book, and I believe it's already in the safe over there at the clerk's office.
Huh.
We put a book together, complete inventory of all the items that are in there. So we did that years ago. Okay? But I mean, I don't know what else to do here. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm fighting a losing battle with this church. I have been working on this church since 2011, when I first started finding out all the information. I have got 2 folders at home, yay thick, with paperwork of everything, the deeds, everything to do with that church. Okay, plus I've got more stuff right here that I brought with me tonight. I mean, I just don't know what to do anymore. I'm fighting a losing battle with the town.
I mean, would some sort of congregation, however small, be making use of it weekly, or?
Well, there used to be, the congregation was the Society of Enough Behaving. That was the society that was there.
Yeah.
When that Hispanic minister took over, he had his own people.
Yeah.
But then it kind of faded away,
Yeah.
and he let the building go.
Yeah, that happens.
I mean, he did kind of remember, he had junk cars there. He had junk cars parked in the around the church.
Oh.
Inside the building was filthy. In fact, I don't know if you remember that far back, but I remember well getting kicked out of there by Alan Catino because there was this much bird stuff on the floor
Oh, boy.
because of the hole in the roof.
Yeah.
And that's when I went to CPC and I got money to have the whole new roof put on. They rebuilt inside the wood and they put a new roof on. We went to CPC another time where they did the siding,
Yep.
the 3 doors new,
Yep.
okay? And what else? Plus, I got that money still in the account.
Yeah.
You know, even if they would let me take 10,000 out of the 38 and see if I could get a preservationist there to get it on the National Register. If I could do that, at least we could apply for grants. But if I don't get it on the register, I can't get grants from the state.
Yeah.
Now, the cost of building the addition for the bathroom or bathrooms, bringing the water in, doing the plumbing, then once you do the plumbing, you're gonna have to have heat in there. Now,
No.
do you have a ballpark figure on that?
Well, the building inspector told me that 38,000 is not even gonna pay for 1 handicap bathroom.
Plus, now, if you put a septic system in, it has to abide by the new septic system rules, correct?
And we may not have room for it.
Well, that's the other question I was gonna ask.
So I asked about a tight tank. where it would only be used basically on Sundays for the beginning,
Yeah.
could we put a tight tank in? The new regulations are, if you have a septic system, it fails, then if you don't have room to put a new system in, they will allow a tight tank. But if you're putting in a brand new system, you can't use a tight tank. I'm telling you, I'm getting kicked every way I turn around. So I don't know what to do anymore.
Gosh.
You know, I don't know what to do.
Maybe
I mean,
there isn't much one can do, I don't know. Gosh.
I think I'm fighting a losing battle. In fact, as much as my husband loves that building, he goes there every day to check on it. He even takes a walk through
Yeah,
it, make sure
yeah.
everything's okay. He does that with the museum and the meeting house every day.
Yeah.
And he'll tell me, if I don't go up there one day, something's gonna go wrong. So he goes up there every day, every day.
Now, let me ask you this, Pauline. If nothing gets done, the bathrooms don't get put in, the heat, the plumbing, the whole 9 yards, then what happens to that building?
It's gonna rot away.
Is there any provision to maintain it the way it is now as a historical building?
It's an historical building. The town of Acushnet took that building by eminent domain.
Uh-huh.
Remember, we got the money from town meeting for that. They took it by eminent domain. I've got lawyers, papers, and everything. I got copies of everything.
Yep.
Okay? So that building right now belongs to the town of Acushnet.
Yep.
The historical commission oversees it, like the other two.
Yep.
But I can't get the funding I need. So the other thing, this is another idea that we're talking about, is that next week when I have the society meeting, I got a lady there that joined through Apple Peach as a volunteer. This lady is very smart. She knows grant writing. She does all that stuff. And I was talking to her about it, kind of explaining some of it, and she said, what if we try to get fundraising, do fundraising? Okay? But to be honest with you, right now, the way the building inspector talked to me, that to do those bathrooms, those 3 bathrooms the way we need it, we're talking over 100,000.
Oh.
Because they're handicapped. And see, we could get Old Colony to put the addition on,
Yeah.
we'd pay for the material, you know? But he's telling me just the bathrooms alone. So I'm thinking, the estimate I got here to do the inside, this is not counting the estimate for all the sheetrock, which
No.
I had gotten from, what's his name that lives right down the street there in Perry Hill? Elias, yes, Steve Elias. He'd gotten me an estimate a few years ago to do all the sheetrock and inside to finish it inside. And that was about 80,000. So, you know, you put this all together, we're looking at probably $300,000
Yeah.
to get that building up and running. And that may not even count a septic system.
Of course, one of the hang-ups might be how many people are actually going to be making any use of that place over the long haul once you've all expended the money and you get these things in place.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, some of these little congregations simply don't exist any longer, or they've thrown in with others that are stronger or something. I don't know. I don't know.
And that's true, I've been hit with that question
Yeah.
from everyone.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know?
And is well, how much land is there? Half an acre?
That is a small, I don't even think it's a half.
Yeah.
And I don't have that part
You
with
drive
me.
in, you drive around, you drive out.
I mean, you might be able to use that location for something entirely different of a town nature if it was taken by eminent domain and just forget about the church building. I
Well,
mean, if it's just
you know what
not-
I'm beginning to think? That maybe we should just give up on this
Yes,
and turn around and give it back to the town.
yeah,
Let the town put it on the market for sale.
yes.
See if somebody will scoop it up.
I bet somebody would. I bet somebody would.
You hear a lot of times these contractors will buy them, turn them into a little house
Sure.
where they could probably do it and most of the work themselves
Yeah,
and save money
Sure.
where we can't accomplish anything,
yes. It might just be the ultimate solution.
you know?
Then I think there's another technicality about the lot size,
It's small.
change of use from a church to
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because then I believe on the the assessor's field card, it is listed as the church. Because they don't pay taxes, never did either.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I need some ideas because I am so, disgusted with everything with this. I mean, it's ridiculous already, the time and energy that I keep putting into it, and
Yeah.
we're not getting anywhere,
Yeah.
you know?
And I mean, I don't know if it has some historical significance, and yet there's virtually nobody still above the ground who had any connection with the place.
Oh no, they're all gone.
Yeah,
The last survivor
yeah,
is the one that had given the key for that minister to use the building for services,
sure,
and she's gone.
yeah.
So there is no,
Might be the thing, just put it on the market and somebody will buy it and they'll put something there of some
But,
significance.
you know what
keep the thing-
worries me about that too is the little library over here.
Yep,
The last time I had talked to the selectmen about that, they were supposed to be getting a formal appraisal and it was going on the market, and this was supposed to be last year,
yeah,
and nothing's happened there. So, I don't know.
it's a hard call.
It is, because you know that little building, I mean, what is it, 1875? Isn't that the date on the building? 1875? Eric, you remember?
No, I don't.
18, I think it's 1875. I mean, it's, the museum is the one that's got the bathrooms, because it was a schoolhouse, it's got the heat,
Yep,
it's got everything there.
Yep.
So that building, we can open it up every week, every day, whatever we want.
sure,
If I had more help, we'd open it up more often.
yeah,
But the meeting house, that's another. And we had the storm windows put on. The building looks beautiful,
yeah,
you know?
yeah,
In fact, it's going to need a little bit of work on it. I got to get an estimate because I had Seth go out there, and the two main doors in the front, they had to get sanded down because we couldn't open and close them.
yep,
With the rain, you know how the rain hits the doors?
Mm.
It swelled them right up because they made out of wood.
sure.
What happened to the iron gate that was supposed to be installed?
We never got a decent price. And then remember Jim Merritt, before he left, he was supposed to have the boys do that for us.
Mhm.
Then he took off with the two boys.
Hmm.
Okay? We can still do the gate because we've got money to do it.
Yep.
I just have to get some prices again and have the gate put up.
Okay.
Because we had the storm windows done, but we need some of the wood on the front of the building is kind of rotten away, like where the porch part is. I guess when it rains, it splashes against the building, so that like bottom board, I don't know what you call it, but it's the bottom around the doors, and the frames around the doors, they're rotted away.
Gosh,
So we're gonna have to spend a little money this year on that. But there again, I can't open the building up.
yeah,
Like I said, I'm going to talk to Mr. Kelly, the new administrator, and see
sure.
if he'll kind of help us along here because,
You may have some suggestions, yeah.
well, I was told that I was breaking the law by opening that building because it's not handicapped. And it's only one step to get in, that's it. It's not handicapped. So I'm wondering, I still got a little bit of money in the fund that I had for the meeting house that was to make the ramp. So I gotta see if I can get a price, maybe Seth will give me a price on doing the ramp. He said it wouldn't cost that much.
It may not. Well,
And make the ramp from that main door out just a little bit.
uh-huh.
But even then, those doors are not that wide,
No,
so
Yeah, you're right.
it may
Yeah.
not fit a wheelchair anyways.
I believe the ruling on the ramps is for every inch of elevation, you need 1 foot of ramp.
Yeah,
So if you're going up 9 inches a step,
yeah,
you need 9
9
feet of
feet.
ramp. That, I believe that's,
9 feet of ramp. I think it's only about 6 inches to the porch part, and then maybe another 6 or 8 inches for the step to go in the building.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have to get a price on that and see, have that done. 'Cause it's gonna need a little bit of work this year.
Yeah.
And the museum, the money I'd gotten last year for the roof on the patio, they put that new roof up. There was two layers of old shingles on that roof. We thought there was only one. When he went up there to do it, there was 2.
Oh.
So they put the new shingles on, and he reinforced all the gutters around, because
Yeah.
those gutters were jam-packed with junk.
That roof you're talking about, was that the one that was supposed to be on the,
38,000
God.
for the,
Well, I'm thinking
no,
about-
3,800, what am I
I'm thinking
talking
about the
about?
one that's on the shed roof on the back of the, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the patio,
Okay,
where we do apple peach.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he cleaned all the gutters,
So
and
that
he
was
put
complete, okay.
some new reinforcement all around on the gutters too. So that all got done. Now this year, I've gone to CPC for the fence on the north side of the museum. That fence is a mess. One of the trees had come down and kind of broke the fence, and this time, I'm not putting a gate. Because that lady next door won't let him rent the land anyways. This time, no gate. Because it's gonna be like $500 more just to put a gate.
Oh,
So-
gosh.
So I went to CPC for that, and it looks like that's gonna be a go. The old 1903 sign on Potting Ways, that looks like it's gonna be a go. And then Pam called me the next day and told me they've got a perfect spot inside the building near the clerk's office. Because I told Mr. Kelly, I said, whoever the damn fool was that left that outside in the weather, knowing that was an historic sign, never should have been left out in the weather.
Of course not.
So this one, we'll have it, rebuilt like that one, but it's gonna go inside. So we don't have to worry about it anymore. And then the flagpole, I asked for the money for the flagpole on the Perry Hill School Park, the lot they cleaned. Yeah, the flagpole is under $300 to get a 20-foot flagpole so they can have it on that lot. And the scouts will put it in.
How
So-
often is the museum actually open? They can go in there and do-
Right now, it's closed for the winter because there's heat on,
Yeah.
but I keep it at 50. You don't believe what I've paid for oil this year in that building.
Gosh.
I've had 3 deliveries,
Yeah.
600, and the first one was 300. And I may get one more. I've already ran out of budget money. We've ran completely out.
Huh.
So when I brought the last oil bill in, I told Nick, I talked to him upstairs, I said, my balance is 0. So they're gonna have to give us money for April, May, and June for the bills. Telephone, electric. The next alarm will be July, so I don't have to worry about that, but
Yeah.
the alarm systems and that, yep.
How's the electric in there?
The electric bill for the museum is not bad. I usually averages around 60, 70, especially with the furnace running all the time. The alarm system is not bad. The one at the meeting house costs us more money because that's a different system than the museum.
Yeah.
That one works, something to do with the telephone line, but there's no more telephone in the building. Where before there used to be a telephone in there. There's 2 different systems. The museum's got one type of system, and the museum is hooked up to the fire department and police department. If there's ever a fire or anything, that building is pretty secure. Oh, and that's another thing too. We ran into a little issue with the museum, with, let me think. What do you call that? Not the smoke detector, the other one. Carbon monoxide.
Really?
My husband went up there one day and the furnace was making a crazy noise. He said, when he heard that, and when he opened the door and he heard that, he said, oh my God. And then it let out like a poof, and it let out an odor that went right through the museum.
Yeah.
He came out of the building, he said, oh my God. He gets me on the phone. We got a problem. So we called the furnace guy. Come to find out, we had no carbon monoxide detectors in the museum.
Huh.
So guess what? The fire department, well, they went up because the alarm went off.
Yeah.
Okay, the police and the fire went up there. So the fire chief, the new one, gave him
Free.
the carbon monoxide detectors. He put one downstairs, one first floor, and one second floor. So now the building's protected with carbon monoxide.
Yep.
And the furnace guy checked it out, said there was nothing wrong with it.
Huh. What is ordinarily kept in the museum? Maps or something, or?
Oh,
old
there's
stuff?
so much stuff in that museum. All old historic stuff. One room is a classroom.
Yep.
The desks are all attached to the floor,
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
Upstairs, we've got a clothing room, all the old clothes. And the other room is set up like an apartment. It's set up with like a living room,
Sure.
a kitchen area, and a bedroom.
Uh-huh.
And the furniture is up there.
Yeah.
The main room has got a lot of stuff to see. Got a lot of collections like old cameras
Yeah.
and a lot of
Yeah.
Tools, things like that.
the uniforms from the service, old stuff, you know? But I'm gonna see, I'm gonna have my meeting next week with the society.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if some of the new girls that had joined, they're very into this.
Yes, I should think.
And I need help.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And they're all willing to help, so I gotta take advantage of it, because it's too much already. It's
Yeah.
too much, so, I talked to Alice and was about the fundraising.
Mhm.
So I don't know, do you people think it's even worth trying to do fundraising? Do you think we'd ever even attempt to get that kind of money?
No.
To be able to fix that building?
It wouldn't be easy, that's for sure.
No.
I think to bring it up to everybody's standards,
Yeah.
it's gonna cost a small fortune.
Yeah.
I'm looking, right now, we're just thinking the figures that I'm hearing, I'm saying we're gonna need about $300,000.
The septic system alone will probably cost you around 25, 30,000 for the new type system, from what I understand.
Well, that law's not gonna go into effect. Did you hear the selectmen's meeting, Monday?
No.
No, it wasn't Monday, it was, the finance committee meeting last week. Mr. Kelly had to go, to that meeting, and he was asked that question about the talk of that new,
The
that's gonna cost us
nitrogen, yeah,
homeowners
right.
$30,000-$40,000.
Yeah.
And no, I think the state has put a kibosh to it right now. So they're not gonna go forward. I hope not. Cause we all get septics.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So, what are your thoughts? You think that we should give up on it, or what should we do? I really don't know.
Are you gonna be talking, you said you're gonna be talking to the Mass Historical
I'm gonna call them.
They may have some suggestions.
I
I mean,
would-
they've been around, they cover the entire state, they must have.
I've talked to them so many times. But they
Yeah.
said, get the building on the National Register. Where am I gonna get the $10,000?
Is
If
that
they don't
what's
let me take it
necessary
out
to
of
get
that
it on
account?
the National Register, $10,000?
Yeah, because you gotta have a preservationist do all the paperwork involved,
Oh, dear.
and pictures and everything the state wants to get it on. I got the museum on the National Register,
Yeah, yeah,
and I got the Rivers End District,
sure.
you know?
Well,
I mean,
some buildings, I'm sure, are tougher than others to convince people that there's some good reason that it should be on the register. But
and I mean, if I had more fight in me right now, I would probably go ahead and try to get Perry Hill District
Yes,
and along North Main Street, all the way up, basically, is almost all historic properties.
sure.
That could be a district in itself.
Are you able to tie the church into the parcel across the street that they just cleaned up?
How?
I don't know, I'm asking, is there a way to tie that all together?
You mean the schoolhouse
Well,
property?
the schoolhouse was, yes. Mendel Road and Perry Hill Road.
I don't know how.
Okay.
I don't know, two separate properties,
Two
so
separate,
they,
yeah.
they were
Yeah.
probably.
They're both owned by the town.
Mm.
Both areas are owned by the town.
I can't see that kind of money if it's
No,
only
it's
gonna be a
tough.
church.
It's mighty tough.
They're not paying taxes to the town.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So, you know, that's a lot of money.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe we ought to just let it go,
Maybe so,
let the town try
Yeah.
to sell it,
yes,
have an appraisal done,
yep,
let them try to sell it. The money that comes in would go to the town.
sure,
It's owned by the town.
sure.
It cost them money when they took it eminent domain.
Yes, of course.
Is
Of
the
course it
lot size within the rights of what it's supposed to be, or is it too small?
The lot size,
small.
I don't remember the dimensions offhand, but I know the lot is small. I would say it's not even, it probably is a quarter of an acre. It's not very large.
I don't even think it's that, is it?
I don't think, I think it's less than a quarter.
Yeah,
Can't be
it might
that,
be.
no.
Kind of hard when you have something that small.
Yeah, it's quite tiny.
Yeah.
And to put a septic system in, I mean, you would have to do it either on one side of the building or the other,
Sure.
because if you expanded the rear of the building to make bathrooms, you wouldn't have room for a septic back there.
Yep.
Let me ask you a question. Let's assume downstream, all of this materializes. Where are people parking?
That's another problem.
Yeah.
So I was looking, you talked about putting in 3 baths out the back of the building. If you look at the door that's there now on the northwest corner, that's up against that west wall. If you were to come out the back, you said about putting in a handicap ramp and going west and then going south towards the main street. You
Yeah.
can't have parking, you can't get cars by.
No, you wouldn't be able to park there.
So there's no way to, okay.
That's another big problem.
Another big problem, and the other thing there is Mr. Gordon that owns
Next
the
door.
land next door.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, he's got that big empty field. I mean, I don't know how well he's doing physically because he was quite ill.
I brought that up a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were gonna approach him about,
Yeah.
you know, maybe getting it eminent domain or whatever.
Yeah,
Or even let him lease it to us, as long as it would, you know, people could park in that lot.
How would it be if you were to put on new store windows and turn it back to the town?
yeah.
Put new stone windows,
Yes, you already have the wooden ones all redone,
all redone.
and then put on vinyl storm windows over that, like you have in the rest of the places.
With that money, you mean?
Yes. That gets rid of some of the money and then get rid of it.
Sure.
Okay.
We could probably do that, put stone windows, but they tell me, why are you throwing your money away?
Why indeed?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
That money's gotta stay with the church.
Yes.
That money,
that money, yeah, it can be used on the church, like for any type of work
but not
on
the
the church.
museum or anything.
Oh, no,
No, we're talking
no,
store
no.
windows for that building, for the church.
yeah.
So that'll last a lot longer than what it is now.
It's in the Perry Hill Church account with the town.
Okay.
And that account is making interest all the time too.
Hmm.
And the last figure I got was 38,208. But it's a big dilemma because
Of course it is, yeah.
I mean, I could have gone back to CPC last week because they called me and asked me if I was going to come back to the second meeting. And I said to Kathy, I said, why waste my time? It's fruitless. But in a way, I kicked myself because I should have gone back and I should have told them, you know, that 38,000 isn't going to put bathrooms in. We need a lot more than that
Yeah.
because I have to have 3. You tell me why I need 3 when years and years and years didn't have 1.
I can't see the little building with 3.
That's why I gotta call my friend with the state. I can't think of his name, but I got home. I'm gonna have to call him and see how come these old buildings are not grandfathered in.
Yeah.
They never had bathrooms years ago. They didn't even have heat.
A lot of the buildings were never actually residences anyway. Nobody was living there at all times. They served other purposes.
Right.
There ought to be a difference, it seems to me.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah.
I mean, this way, we'll never get anywhere, we'll never get that building used for anything.
I mean, you could have a church congregation in there for umpteen years and not one person is handicapped, so I mean,
Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
yeah,
It does not make sense whatsoever.
none, not much. Well,
Well,
Okay.
like I say, I'm fighting a losing battle, so I think I'm gonna kind of give up. And another thing, I don't know if you believe this or not, you remember that, I've got the articles right here, when they did the write-up in the newspaper about the water troughs?
Mm.
And now that the park is all done, I wanted to have like a little dedication and have the Standard Times come out and do an article.
yeah,
Do you believe I cannot get a hold of anybody at the Standard Times?
I believe it.
All right? I've even emailed 2 or 3 of them that had email addresses. I emailed and never got a response.
does it ever do any good to simply walk in there in person?
I don't think you can walk in there
Where you
anymore.
walk in.
You can't
Yeah, I
even
don't
walk
think
in there?
I don't think you can walk in anymore.
Oh, gosh.
No, my sister-in-law worked for the Standard Times for years, and she said, "I'm so disgusted with the paper, with everything."
Yeah.
I said, "You don't know what I go through." I can't even get a hold of somebody that would be willing to write an article.
Gosh.
So I may have to
Yeah.
go with the neighborhood news.
Okay.
I know she loves to do
I
articles
was
like
gonna say,
that.
would you like me to go with you down on
Might
Elm Street? to
accomplish
where they're
some,
located?
some kind of
I don't think you
reaction,
can
yeah.
get in. You could try, but I don't think you can get in the building.
Ha!
I'll give it a try.
Fine, how do you
I'll let
do?
you know.
I was
If you
told
want to
that
put an ad or anything, you can't go in?
there's not anybody here much to
The
tell me.
last time I went in there, someone came down the stairs. I told her what I wanted, she goes, use the phone over there.
Uh,
So I did. What about the normal number, like if you wanted to start or stop a paper, they give you umpteen choices? Is that one of them? Talk to a real person?
Can't talk to people today.
no, you can't. Everything, if you got an email or text or whatever you're gonna do,
Yep.
the only way you can get to anybody.
Then they'll take the email, put it off in the corner somewhere, and
Yeah.
then they've read it, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
And I keep getting the emails from the state anyways, from that Jennifer there. She's always sending me emails, updates for the historical commission.
you know, if you could, we have a new regime, a governor and a lieutenant governor. Every time I see the news, you see the 2 of them in the same place and at the same time, always attending meetings and things. If you could get them interested in some of this stuff, it might jar something loose. I know, it may not be possible.
It may not be possible.
Yeah,
I think I gotta start with the Mass Historical. See
Yeah.
if I can get through.
sure, sure.
And
That might be it. That might
I
be
know
it.
they wanted to work with me in the worst way to get it on the National Register.
Yes,
They told me back in 2012
yeah,
that building was ready to go.
yeah.
We didn't have the money to get it done. And I don't know if you remember that, what was his name? He did a lot of work here in the town of Acushnet.
Yeah.
Oh God, what's his name? He started working on the Perry Hill Church. And we had, I don't remember all the details now, but I think we had $5,000 in one of the accounts that would have covered his work to do on the church.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know what happened. I remember Les Dakins telling me that the money was gone.
Let's take
The money was gone,
Oh, boy.
so we couldn't pay him. So he stopped the work because he never got paid for the little bit he did.
Of course.
And now I know he's very, very sick. He's got cancer.
Oh, dear.
So he's not doing much of anything anymore.
Yeah.
But his brother was president of the Historical Society in Westport. That was his brother. So I don't know if they're both still hanging around, doing what they're doing.
Well, here's another thought for you, too. as a result of the last election, this town is now split and has 2 state reps.
Yes,
One represents this area, the other 2 precincts.
yeah.
What do they get to say about all this? They've both been in there for a number of years. They ought to have some thoughts that could be discussed.
A hysterical?
Sure. Why not? No.
You don't know, I'm fighting a losing battle. I am.
Yeah, but I mean, it wouldn't do any harm to at least approach them and say, Jim, what do you think? Got any thoughts about this? Might be interesting, because both of those guys have been in there for some time. And, you know,
Yeah, I saw them on TV.
the longer you're in
at the,
there, the more you have little avenues, can be pursued to do this and do that and get some money. A freshman isn't going to know from nothing, but those that have been there for several terms, and especially if your town now for the first time ever has 2 state reps, not just
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And also, you get a state senator who,
Montigny?
yeah,
I was just thinking about Montigny, because...
Montigny, he must be fairly effective because he never has an opponent.
No.
Nobody ever runs against him.
And he gets his packages through.
Yes.
They always get everything approved.
Yes, I was always told that he operates rather quietly and effectively and gets things done. He doesn't make too many headlines, and yet they keep putting him back in there because obviously he's
He's
accomplished
getting the
things.
job done.
Yeah. I mean, you got a workhorse and then you got a show horse, and apparently they consider him a workhorse, and he gets things done. But it wouldn't do any harm to talk to these guys, at least, because if they think people are watching them, they're going to be a little more on the stick.
Because I know they were on top of it when that issue came up with the septic system.
Yeah.
Both of them
Yeah.
were involved with the selectmen and everything. They came to the selectmen's meeting.
Sure.
I got a habit of watching all the meetings on my computer at home. If I don't see them on TV, the next day I'll play it back on the computer and I'll listen to the meeting.
Sure.
I've been watching the finance committee. Things are not easy. Things are not easy, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really am interested. I love to listen to the meetings and see what they're talking about and how things are going,
Sure, of course.
And the finances, I'm going to tell you that Mr. Kelly, he has done one fantastic job for this town in the short time he's been here.
Mhm.
He got them out of a big mess. Things were all messed up. I remember the meeting, he talked to the selectmen about the, at the end of the year, what do you have, those people that, the auditors? He fired them. He fired them, because they weren't doing the job right. That came right on TV. I said, whoa. He told the selectmen right on TV. He fired them. Well, so that's what you guys think,
Yep.
we'll try to pursue it a little bit further.
Sure. Because bear in mind too, one of the 2 state reps is new to 2/3 of the town, and he's way the heck over in Westport. It's kind of a strange drawing of the district, but here he is. He's got this town for the first time ever. I've spoken to the guy.
You have?
I campaigned for him. I think he's
You got his name and phone number?
no with me.
I've got his card home.
You got his card home?
Yeah.
Can you call me or email me with it?
Yeah.
Give me the information?
No, he strikes me as a good guy, and he keeps getting reelected over there. So but I don't know how well he knows this town. This town is new to him.
Not new to me. I was born and raised here.
No, but I bet he would like to become better known, because if you're better known in a town, you're more likely to carry it and stay in office.
But I don't know about with this historical stuff.
Yeah, you have to wonder, how much do they really know or care about things of that kind?
I'm telling you, the more I talk to people in this town,
Because there aren't many voters in empty
This-
buildings.
less and less people that are interested in old buildings.
Yeah, I mean...
Okay.
Well, I can see preserving it, but you
Yeah.
gotta have something to do with the building.
Yes, you do, that's the
I
problem.
mean, you're gonna fix it all up and it's gonna sit there?
You can't do that,
So
no.
you gotta
But
have,
that's, I mean, definitely, I would like to see it started again as a church, and then from that point on, we could do other things with it. We can rent it out. They can have meetings there.
Sure, you can do all
Because if
kinds of
it's
stuff.
3 or 4 cars,
Sure,
yeah, but if it's 3 or 4 cars, you can park right in the front.
yes, of course.
but how much you gonna get to have a meeting?
Yeah.
You know,
More than 4 people.
Yeah.
Well, some of these
For what you're
meetings-
gonna spend on the building, you're
Well,
never
that's
gonna
it.
get your money back.
Oh, you're not, I don't think you're gonna get your money back because
No,
people are not going to pay. I mean, even the museum, we used to have it so that we used to charge when they came in.
yeah,
And it got to a point, a lot of people would turn around and go back out.
that's right.
Just put a box there for,
I have a box right on the desk, says donations.
Yeah.
You'll get people donating if they want to.
Sure,
Do many donate
you
though?
might be able to.
Yeah, some of them do, and they'll buy things like the postcards or whatever it is that we have there,
Yeah.
and the maps. The
Yeah.
maps sell.
Yes,
In fact,
the pens.
I got loads of pens up there too. I give them pens. They give a donation. We give them pens. There's a map. There's a store down. I'm not sure if it's Brewster. It comes on the advertisements on the computer all the time. The old maps, historical maps.
yes, I've heard of the place.
Well, every time that they send me emails,
Yep.
so I'm always going in there and looking because I'm trying to find a map of Acushnet
Mhm.
from it was 1895 to 1871. What the two I got at the museum? It's 1871
Yeah.
and 1895.
It'd be interesting to have a map, the very first one that was ever made when it became a town.
That's the one I want. Around 1860 or just before.
Well,
Yeah.
how did they determine, for example, what the boundaries were going to be? Because it was going to break away from an existing town and be a separate one. How did they figure that out? Yeah, because that must have been something they argued about. And,
Yeah, because I don't know if they had surveyors back then.
well, I mean, certainly from time to time, they were creating new towns. The last one created on the Cape was Bourne in 1882. And they drew a vertical line, believe it or not. Everything to the east of it was going to remain Sandwich. Everything to the other side of the line was going to be the brand new town and go right up against Plymouth, for a boundary line. Yeah,
Well, that's like us right up against Rochester,
sure.
right up against Fairhaven,
Yeah.
Freetown. I mean, you name it. We're
Well, of course, Rochester, of course, you got a county line to consider too, and they didn't change the county line in any way. No. Who knows? I'm gonna have to get home pretty quick
Yeah,
because
we're
I told her I'd fix supper because she said I'm meeting. See, she's connected with the the festival there up at St. John Neumann, and every year she is the personnel director. So she's got to attend these meetings, and she had one tonight, and I suspect she'll still be there for a little while yet. But I gotta go home and do something because if I'm not there cooking supper, I'll get my.
okay.
I'll
Well,
be sorry.
all right. So, our next meeting will be May 9th.
Yep.
Okay. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion made.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
I
Yep.